Wake up and smell the coffee. That's what they all say, all the estate agents, and they totally ignore the fact that half the people do not feel things emotionally. They are very logical. Similarly, some people think they just show lots of pictures, and that's great if you're the kind of person who likes pictures, but however, the 50% of the population prefers to hear things. Personally, I can't stand videos because it's much faster for me to speed read the information than watch someone sprouting on about it and giving their own opinion. And then you have the people who like lots of detail, and you have the people who don't like any detail. Now, when you're making your presentation, you need to be aware that all those kind of people are going to be in your audience. So what is it you do to make sure that all of those are catered for? Or maybe you don't want to cater for them all. Maybe what you need to do is actually focus on the few. Now, if you are working with educated people, are you aware that the language you use and the acronyms you use are actually related to the understanding of your audience? And equally, if you're speaking in your best British accent, do you know that possibly most of your audience is actually speaking English as a second language? I recently did a training course in Madrid. None of the people in the audience were actually from Madrid, but equally none of them were actually from their own town or their own country, and they were living in a different one. So they've had to learn the behaviours of how to succeed in one country when you come from another. Now, what that means is, if you are presenting, for example, if you're Irish and you're presenting in Serbia, then the culture you are working with, that's the culture of the natural people of Serbia, they have learned to behave in a certain way, even though naturally they may not. And what you might be doing is making your assumptions that the people you think you wish to educate actually are from a different part of the world, so you have to behave differently. So this is how many things apply when you're dealing with interculturality. Likewise, are you dealing with old people? Are you dealing with young people? They have different approaches to life. Be careful not to insult the old, but equally be careful not to assume the old are gaga, and equally assume that the young are denigrated, because they always were and they always will be. So all these different parts of learning you need to take into account when you are constructing your presentation, your speech, because different kinds of audience require a different kind of inclusion. And if you don't include your audience, then you're going to be in difficulty. So what are you going to do about it? You're going to check what kind of audience you've got. Are they educated? Are they white? Are they black? Do they work on the same kind of English that you operate on? Or do they work on different kinds of things? Because depending upon that will depend how you construct your presentation. And for goodness sake, construct your presentation in such a way that when you realise the audience you've got is totally different from the one you're expecting, then maybe you can be flexible enough to shift it on the fly. And I'm making this recording in beautiful Altea, so you can see all about it.